My name is Dr. Emily Carter. For a decade, the cold, hard facts of astrophysics have been my entire world. I thrive on data, on verifiable truth, on the elegant precision of the universe's laws. My nights are spent in the hushed control room of a small but elite observatory, nestled deep within the vast, silent beauty of the Sonoran Desert. It's a place of stark contrasts. The ancient red rock landscape outside and the cutting-edge technology within. Tonight, like so many nights, I was meticulously calibrating our deep space optical array, preparing to capture the elusive light from galaxies billions of light years away. I pondered the vastness, the sheer improbability of life, the sterile beauty of a cosmos governed by predictable physics. My thoughts drifted to the scientific community's cautious optimism, their debates on exoplanets, but always grounded in known parameters. The hum of the cooling systems, the soft whir of the telescope adjusting, these were my lullabies. Nothing suggested that this particular night would be anything but routine, a perfect backdrop for the quiet pursuit of distant truths. The first deviation wasn't dramatic. It was a whisper in the data, a subtle interference pattern on my primary display, subtly corrupting the pristine stream of photons from the farthest reaches of the Virgo supercluster. My initial reaction was pure scientific reflex, an equipment malfunction. I started running standard diagnostics, checking every cable, every sensor, every line of code. But the pattern persisted, growing more coherent, more deliberate. It wasn't random noise. It was structured. I rerouted the anomaly to a dedicated spectral analyzer, hoping for a mundane explanation, perhaps a new type of atmospheric interference, or a classified military drone. What flashed across the screen next, however, was something entirely new, something that made my blood run cold, a distinct, incredibly complex energy signature, unlike anything cataloged in any known astrophysical phenomenon, terrestrial or cosmic. It pulsed with an impossible regularity, a rhythm that suggested conscious intent. My scientific training demanded a logical explanation, but a chilling premonition, a profound sense of the uncanny, began to seep into my rational mind. This wasn't a glitch. It was an undeniable, impossible beacon. It was a communication, a signal, and it was getting closer, disrupting not just my data, but my very understanding of reality. I felt a growing, almost agonizing tension, an urge to scream impossible, even as the data screamed real. Here, detail her struggle with the data, maybe trying to call a colleague but hesitating, checking and rechecking, the growing sense of dread and excitement. The octagon's descent. The hum from the anomaly intensified, no longer just a disruption, but a resonant vibration that seemed to penetrate the very concrete and steel of the observatory. Ignoring every protocol, every rule of a controlled scientific environment, I abandoned the control room. A primal, instinctual urge, stronger than any scientific curiosity I'd ever felt, pulled me towards the main observation deck. The cool, crisp desert night air, usually a comfort, now felt charged with an almost palpable, unknown energy. My gaze swept the vast, star-peppered horizon, past the ancient saguaros standing like silent, thorny sentinels, past the familiar undulating contours of the distant mesas that had been my only companions for years. And then I saw it. Not through the cold, calculated lens of a telescope, but with my own trembling, naked eyes. It hung there, impossibly still, suspended perhaps only a few hundred feet above a remote, flat-top mesa shrouded in the deepest part of the night. It was a colossal, silent object, not reflecting the ambient starlight, but seemingly absorbing it, appearing as a deeper, purer void against the already dark sky. Its form was a perfect jet-black octagon, immense and flawless. Along its precise, sharp edges, a mesmerizing network of faint, internal amber lights pulsed with a slow, deliberate, almost hypnotic rhythm, illuminating nothing but themselves. There was no sound, no visible propulsion system, no exhaust, just pure, terrifying, undeniable presence. My breath caught in my throat. Every scientific principle I held dear, every law of physics I had devoted my life to, shattered in that instant. It was there, and it was utterly, magnificently impossible. It was a silent testament to a reality far beyond our wildest dreams or nightmares. Here, describe her awe, the feeling of insignificance, the details of the craft, the desert sounds dying away. As I stood frozen, my heart pounding a frantic rhythm against my ribs, a section of the octagon's underside shimmered with the internal amber light, then slowly and gracefully retracted, forming a wide, dark, perfectly circular aperture. From within, a single, impossibly precise beam of pure, blinding white light descended, touching the desert floor with an almost palpable force. The sand beneath it seemed to ripple, vibrating with an unseen energy as if the very ground was alive. And then, from the heart of that intense beam, two figures slowly materialized. They were tall, even taller than average human, incredibly slender with an almost translucent, bioluminescent skin that pulsed with soft, internal hues of emerald green and sapphire blue, like living nebulae or distant galaxies condensed into form. Their heads were elegantly elongated, smooth, and utterly devoid of any visible facial features save for their eyes. And those eyes! Vast, multifaceted, like polished obsidian reflecting the entire starry sky and perhaps something far beyond. They moved with a fluid, almost dreamlike grace that transcended any human understanding of motion, their steps utterly silent. One of them, the slightly taller of the two, took a single, deliberate step out of the light, its gaze, if I so alien could truly gaze, fixed directly upon me. In that instant, I felt no fear, only an overwhelming, impossible pressure in my mind, not painful but insistent, like a grand symphony playing directly into my thoughts. A cascade of complex geometries, impossible equations, and vivid images of alien star charts, swirling nebulae from distant galaxies and the deep, silent stretches of cosmic time flashed through my consciousness. It wasn't communication through spoken words or even a language I could comprehend. It was a direct, raw transfer of pure knowledge, of cosmic truth. I was being shown glimpses of universal laws, of civilizations untold, of a history far grander and older than humanity could ever conceive. It was an invitation, a revelation, a silent, profound understanding that dissolved the boundaries of my scientific skepticism, replacing it with an unshakable certainty. They weren't here to harm. They were here to share, to illuminate, to simply be. Their presence was a profound gift, a silent answer to questions I hadn't even known how to ask. Here, expand on the telepathic experience, what specific images she saw, what feelings she experienced, the sense of ancient wisdom, the lack of threat, the feeling of profound connection.
Echoes of the infinite and a new dawn. The flood of information receded as abruptly as it began, leaving behind an echoing silence in my mind, a vast emptiness now filled only with the immense, breathtaking truth of what I had witnessed. The two figures, with that same impossible grace, glided back into the radiant beam, which then slowly retracted into the octagonal craft. The opening on the underside sealed seamlessly, leaving no trace. The amber lights along the object's edges pulsed one final intense surge, a silent farewell that seemed to ripple through the very fabric of the night. Then, with an almost imperceptible shimmer, the entire vessel accelerated upwards at a speed that defied comprehension, shrinking into a distant star, then vanishing altogether into the inky blackness of the Arizona night. Silence returned to the desert, deeper and more profound than before, now infused with the overwhelming weight of the impossible made real. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, the taste of ozone lingering in the crisp air, my hands still pressed to my temples, trying to reconcile the sheer volume of information, the profound, unshakable truth that had just rewritten my universe. Back in the observatory, I spent the rest of the night, and indeed the following days, poring over every single data point, every anomaly. The energy signature from Chapter 2 was now clearer, stronger, imprinted across our deepest sensors, undeniable, quantifiable proof. This wasn't just a sighting, it was a profound, scientifically verifiable event that had irrevocably shattered my entire scientific paradigm. The universe, I now knew with absolute certainty, was far, far stranger, more alive, and infinitely more beautiful than any equation could describe. My life, my purpose, had been redefined. The search for knowledge had just begun, but now I knew what to look for and where.